Hello, hello. Greetings, salutations, my lovely little beings all across the plains, all across the universe, the multiverse, the Sergiverse. Yes, this is I, Sergi Desu. I've been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks, I know, right? Like, here we are, kind of like the middle of August. And yeah, this is really kind of the first you've heard from me as far as like anything with the blog, anything with the podcast since the last the big one. Yeah, I decided to take a little break. Didn't want to do anything with the blog. I'm still feeling out how I want to go about making my blog as a whole. Like, yeah, I went ahead and I did it, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be how my blog is going to be. And then I'm going to have the podcast and stuff. And I'm coming to find out that as far as having them married together and under one roof, it's both good and bad. And I'm debating on how I want to carry that out. I mean, it's still very fresh. Like, I made this all at the beginning or kind of in the middle of June. So it's still very fresh and new. Like, it doesn't have as much traction right now, and that's fine. I'm kind of just putting it out by ear to a lot of different people. There are a couple of people that, whenever I make a post, they're there to go ahead, read it through, listen to it, and just give me feedback or just show me love. And I appreciate that. I love having people like that in my corner. There's something so integral about having a group of people like that in your corner, especially when you're doing something. It's not even just from the perspective of creating, but just to kind of be like assurance, just like, hey, yeah, you're doing all right, or hey, here's my input on this. I can see that you're trying to go this way, and I have some info on that, and I can help you with that. It's good to have people like that in your corner, especially for someone like myself, where it's like, as much as I love helping people, I'm also like finding myself getting a little scatterbrained at times. Like, I'll tell you right now, as far as the podcast, barring the last like two parter, I've just been kind of like winging it. And it's like, going forward, I know that eventually that's going to run out of steam, especially when it comes to having sit down conversations with certain people. But then again, maybe, just maybe, that can be the format that I go with. But we'll see. Because there are certain people that I would love to have a sit down chat with on the podcast. And I would be remiss if I were to sit here and say that it doesn't matter what I bring up to them. Like, no, there are some things that I would love to get their perspective on, and I want to be respectful of their time. They may be okay with it just being a complete and total, like, chaos train wreck, but I I don't want to do that to everybody that I bring in and is willing to be on the podcast. Like, this isn't some extravagant, like, year long or like several year running strong podcast. It's just starting up because I got a wild hair up my ass and decided, hey, I think I want to do a podcast finally, after over 10 years of various points saying that, man, I should try and do a podcast with people. I finally did it, and well, hey, now I have to go ahead and decide how I want to carry out this bad boy. Now, I was debating if I wanted to go ahead and do this current episode with someone else. And as you're listening to now, that is not the case. But the next episode will very much have a guest, and that guest is to be decided. Yes, yes. Uh, but let me go ahead and give some feedback. Let's kind of tie this all together, because I did kind of allude to, yes, I have been gone for a little bit. So on the 6th of this month, so 10 days ago, or actually 11 days. See, I'm recording this on a Friday and it's up on a Saturday. I mean, for some of those that have paid attention yet. So on the 6th, I went ahead and I flew out of DC, Washington, DC. And I decided that, hey, for a whole month, I'm going to be in Tennesseeville with my lovelies. And that is currently where I'm at. So, for those that have been following at least the little nuggets that I've dropped, I am currently in Tennessee. As I'm shooting this, I'm currently with one of my dearest beings, Milue, and they are a phenomenal individual. They also have a blog, and they've also done a podcast. Granted, I believe it was only one episode, but they have experience nonetheless. I'll share their blog in the show notes. And I was actually considering doing this episode with them, but I feel like I want to go ahead and save that for maybe later this year, because they are one of my many, many Libra lovelies that I am ever so fortunate and grateful to have come to know. And I kind of want to do something in October specifically with them. That all depends on how the schedule is looking for us, because I know they're going to be busy and I'm going to also be busy, because of course I will not be in Tennessee by that time. I digress. Currently, with being in Tennessee, I've been able to really start getting myself back in touch with a lot of different things, a lot of like queer community specifically. Now, that's not to say that my time in Maryland was not best used to try and find my own community in Maryland. I was able to come across a lot of different people that were Maryland, DC, pretty much the DMV. Uh, did it come out the way that I wanted it to? No, I was still very busy with like living situations, doing school, trying to figure things out. Also trying to do some shadow work. Like there's a lot of stuff that I've been having to try and work on as opposed to just raw dogging my issues and just letting whoever has the misfortune of being around me at that time deal with my inability to process and deal with those things. So I went through that year and I decided, okay, like I was able to accomplish a number of different things, but I feel like I need to go ahead and do like a detox. I need to do like a spiritual and mental detox because being exposed to a lot of different people that just, I can only hope that the way that they decide to navigate life will suit them in the long term, which I personally don't think it will. But it's like I came across a lot of different walks of life in little Baltimore, Maryland. Like small town as far or small metropolis rather. Cuz I mean it still had a lot of action in it and I mean it's a very big like cultural hub in terms of like some good art as well as like musicians and stuff. Like I found like a lot of artists and stuff that are based out of Baltimore. Found a lot of great cafes and stuff, and it really helped me get back into being a bookworm and going to the library, which was super exciting. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Um, I will say that I'm a little bummed I didn't do as good as I did this year, as far so far in terms of last year with reading books. Um, I look to get back into that. Like now, I've been just kind of reading manga, and that's been kind of the shift that I've made, trying to be a little bit of an otaku and stuff, getting back into that culture again, and finding series that I like. Because I mean, as it stands, I'm still very much like an old head that just enjoys seeing like old anime that I might not have watched in a long time, or I've never watched at all. I had a chance to watch some Dungeon Meshi, and I've been fond of that in the first few episodes that I've been able to watch. And I'm hoping to get into a couple of other series, but I've decided to double back and get into my real bag, which is reading manga. And I've been reading a couple of different mangas, specifically Chainsaw Man, Doctor Stone, and I'm working on getting into Tokyo Revengers. Those are a couple of series that I'm really intrigued with and hope to finish the manga so I can get into the anime and just enjoy it in full. Eventually, I'll try and pick up the Jujutsu Kaisen as well. But that's just side stuff. Getting into the meat and taters, being able to really process why I have issues with certain things that people do where it's literally just me wanting to project myself onto them because either I've experienced that in a younger stage in my life and it bothered me in a way or it created like this scar on my like mental processing or I've done it before and it has caused some sort of harm to either myself or other people and as a result of such I try to project that issue or feeling on other people. And I'm learning to not be that type of person anymore. It's a process. A lot of people, I'm sure, have had to deal with this and are still dealing with this. And me, I've just kind of been this robot for most of my life. And I'm learning to not be a robot. Thus, that's why I'm here in ye old Tennessee with a lot of good people, a lot of great, wholesome queers. Um, it is still an ongoing process of just being able to calm down and understand that I'm around people that are good and they have my well being in mind. It's not the whole focal point. Like they are still living their own lives and they still have their own thing. But it is to say that if I'm around, then it's just like, hey, yeah, like let's keep in mind that we also have Sergi with us, and just look out for me as I try and look out for them as well. And it's like I did catch myself being very nonverbal, and I'm still having that issue. And I think that's just me trying to process a lot of things that I've had to endure as far as like trying to navigate a lot of like cis hetero spaces over there. And I mean that's it's ongoing. It's an ongoing process. It doesn't really get any easier, I feel like personally, but it's just a matter of how do you tackle these feelings and how do you work about disengaging from them. I'm not totally sure. There are days where I'm just totally not sure and I just completely shut down. And yeah, I feel like that's not something that should be shunned in a lot of cases, but it is helpful to get in contact with people that can at least bring you back. That way, you're not constantly stuck in that mode, or you're constantly looking to be in that mode when things are just kind of like overbearing. I do have to give thanks to like my Sibby. Like they are amazing. They are adorable, as is their partner. That's who I'm currently staying with in Ye Old Tennessee. I'm actually currently wrapping up my week with Milue, but yeah, I'm looking to come across a lot of other people that I've befriended in the old Tennessee. I actually had a chance to go to a double birthday the other day, and that was pretty fun. I'm not big on parties per se, but it was just me trying to kind of step out of my own skin. It's an ongoing process like that. That's just life, right? An ongoing process. That situation, I was a little talkative with certain people, but it was still very much like a massively like nonverbal sort of experience for me, and I don't know how I should go and process that at times, especially when it's like I'm in what could be deemed as a very safe environment, or at least a super neutral environment, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't know how to conduct myself in this matter other than just being relatively cordial and just kind of listening in so I can at least pick up nuggets with people. In social environments, I'm still extremely awkward. Like it pains me whenever people go about, if I go and I have like a speech or something that I have to do. Like I've had to do a speech for like when I graduated and stuff, and then I had to do a community like input speech, and it's like people will sit here and be like, "Wow, you're so well spoken," and it's like, "Oh my god, like, did you write that down or this, that, and the third?" And it's like, "No, I didn't. That was like off the dome," and it's like it just blows people's minds, and it's like, well, that's because I'm really good at masking, and I have this like process, this kind of like auto process that I'm able to run, and it's like it's not to say that whenever I'm giving those sort of things, it's not genuine. I do my best to have like a very neutral sort of speech, and for some reason, people are just like, "Oh my god, that was immaculate. That was amazing." Or if I have a speech and it's like I'm able to kind of slip in that I'm my speech is kind of targeted towards a certain group that needs to do something better. And it's like people are like, I don't really pick up on that, but it sounded really good. And I was like, well, hey, that's half the battle. I'll take it. Hopefully, something will click in your brain somewhere down the line, and you're just like, wait a minute. And yeah, so I hate that. I will never love that. And it's so contradictory to how I would like to be sometimes, where I'm just like, bro, just give me my little like corner and let me be, and do not perceive me, please and thank you. I will do my best to check in every now and then and show you that I'm still alive, but my default is let me just fall off the face of the earth super hard, and that's the end of that. So I'm learning not to do that anymore. Please bear with me, and I promise you that I will eventually find a way to not default to that. But since I'm on the topic of that, here we go segueing into what I feel will help me with that a little bit. Because I have been tasked with joining a lovely group for some BIPOC Vamp Day TTRPG goodness. This is coming from a lovely group that is been brought to my attention by one Spunky Taylor, and I decided to go ahead and try this out as somebody that is a baby to TTRPGs. I've witnessed various groups here and there do TTRPG stuff. I'll also link Spunky Taylor, as she is a phenomenal creator and a connoisseur, a savant, if you will, when it comes to TTRPG stuff and goodness, as well as cosplaying. Her cosplays, her OCs are phenomenal. So I will be sure to link her stuff as well. And I hope that I can really dip into my creative bag some more by doing this. And yeah, so hard to tell what's from the end of this road. Well, on the 6th of September, I will be looking at packing up and shipping west for the second time in my life, going to Arizona. And as a result of such, I will be picking up with my career choice that I've made at the moment, which is with HVAC, but I'm also looking at expanding from that. Because it's like I don't just have HVAC under my belt, I also have painting under my belt. There's a number of other things that I'm looking to dip my toes into as I look to honestly just flesh out my next several years, or however long I'm on this interesting little sphere. And yeah, it's just there's a lot of unknowns for me, and I know there's goals that I have in store, right? Like everybody has goals or plans or what have you. Me, I end up just kind of like rolling with the punches at times, to my detriment here and there. But in some cases, it kind of works for me rather than just trying to put my hands on everything and trying to control everything. I've been in that space before, and it hasn't really benefited me like I've wanted it to or needed it to, rather. So this has been very much a okay. Maybe if I just take a step or so back and just let things really start to unfold rather than just trying to make several hundred mad dashes and 800 different like audibles and changes on the fly because this, that, and the third didn't work out in my favor and yada, yada, yada. And just be able to enjoy life. Like being able to just have the moment be the moment. That's such a foreign concept to me at times, but like I find myself wanting to have that now more than ever. Like building like that content with things, right? That happy content, that sort of content, where it's just like this is okay. Like being able to kind of sit in silence and just admire things and just be like, yeah, this is okay. Like being able to look around and acknowledge, hey, like I do have a place that I can lay my head down and I can have food and be able to like wash myself and have water. And then like the little things, just being able to sit on a comfy bed or lay in a comfy bed, sit in a comfy chair, have a nice comfy hoodie or something. Be able to laugh about something with somebody that you really care about, right? It's really nice. It's really nice because I know there have been times where it's just like I've gotten things and I've just been like, I need to get something different now. I need more. And that's such an unhappy way to live, man. Like, I sit there and I see people that function in that way, and it's just like, dang, bro, like, it doesn't have to be like that. But that's just how some people end up becoming. And it sucks. Like, I feel for them. I I can't let myself go back to that, man. Like that's not a way to live. Like being able to have your happy little cove, your happy little abode, and just have the the fellowship, the coven, if you will, have all your lovelies in one place, or at least an ears away, like just an earshot away. That's where I find myself being now. Is that's what I wanted to work towards. I still have the dreams and aspirations of traveling. Like that's never gonna go away. Like I do want to see the world as it is, but that'll come when I'm in a position to have that. Be it because I've worked my ass off, or because I've been fortunate enough to be put in a position to do that. Be it work, or be it somebody that just decided, hey, we want to do this for you, or we want to put you out somewhere. So that's all I can do is just make myself as available as possible, right? I don't think I have much else to input on this other than the next episode being the week after next, which will go into what, the holiday weekend, something like that? Yeah, I believe so, like right around the 31st. So yeah, the next episode will be the 31st, and that I'm going to do my dance to give you guys another host. I will be trying to reach out to somebody for that time. Uh, Seeing as I mentioned two names and this little shorty, I could very well talk to them specifically, but I feel like one might be a little bit more booked than the other. We'll see, though. But for now, I do want to just give this a nice subtle close. I feel like this is a nice uh, change of pace from what I dropped for you guys, because it's like, with the exception of the pilot episode, like all the other pre-existing episodes have been like hour plus, and I told myself I wasn't going to make these like over an hour, but clearly a bitch lied. So I think we're due for a shorter episode now, just to give you guys a break, especially for you lovelies that might not have been able to listen to any of the wrestling ones. Like, I mean, that's over 2 hours. I'm not going to expect you all to have had that fully digested yet. Let that be one that just simmers on the stove for a little bit for all of you, and just let that come to you when you're good and ready. But either who and any hoodle, I will bid you all adieu. Please enjoy your weekend. Get you a little treat. Get you a nice little treat. We're still dealing with this ungodly heatscape, hellscape, and just maybe maybe also watch a nice movie. Like that's something I've been doing this week. Is I've tried to watch more movies. I'm not like a big movie person, but I've been watching a couple. Just watched this movie called Boys Kills World, and that was interesting. I didn't know H. John Benjamin was the narrator for that. It's kind of funny. So yeah, I got nothing else. So for all that is listening, for all who have stumbled across this by some offshot chance, thank you? Question mark. Uh, Please be safe. Love those around you. Love yourself. Stay caked up, and most importantly, stay healed up. Bye bye, lovelies.